Time is 7 p.m. There are 6 members of council present. A quorum is established. I call this meeting to order. Will you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item number 3 on the agenda was public comment. We did not have anyone sign up. Item number 4, Denise Spittler, CEO of Gateway Children's Services. Welcome, Denise.
Thank you.
Our neighbors.
Yes, our neighbors.
To the right side of us here.
Yeah. Yes. Thank y'all for allowing me to speak on, I'm sure, a very busy Tuesday before court days, right? If I could, would you take one and pass it around? She's passing around information about a meeting that we're going to have in town in November, on November the 12th. And we worked so hard to choose a good date, and then I was just told by the sheriff I made a gross neglectful error, and I scheduled a meeting during deer hunting season. And right, yeah, I didn't know I needed to miss that one. So, but a little bit of context of what we're doing here in local community to prevent child abuse and neglect. So, about 2.5 years ago, Gateway Children's Services entered into a partnership with Department of Community-Based Services for a pilot program that is completely community-based. I think we are known for the last 43 years for our amazing facility next door that offers residential programming and treatment for adolescents. This is completely 100% community-based, and it is prevention. Child Protective Services has always been a very reactionary. Something happens and we respond to it. This is very much focused on prevention. The work that we've done in Montgomery, Clark, Bath, Rowan, and Powell counties got attention from the Doris Duke Foundation nationwide. And as a part of that was the reason that Kentucky was selected as one of 4 states, Oregon, South Carolina, Kentucky, and Washington, D.C., to gather some information about how we can really shift the paradigm of how we think about a child protective system. And so now we have partners right here in Kentucky and right here in Mount Sterling, where our information is being gathered and it's combined with those other 4 states. And what we're really trying to ask is, how can we as a community wrap ourselves around and wrap our services around families so we can prevent them from children from moving into state's custody. What we know is that there are 2 data points that show that a child has a high susceptibility of moving into state's custody. One is how many times has a call been made to Child Abuse and Neglect Hotline. So that's where we started. Now, in those 5 counties, if a call is made to Child Abuse and Neglect Hotline, previously nothing happened with that call. Well, obviously there's some services needed, right? It just didn't meet the criteria for an investigation. So now, through the state TRIS system, as we call it, those calls, if they do not meet criteria, immediately come to Gateway. Our staff in outpatient services at Gateway Children's Services reaches out to those families as a nonprofit, not as an arm of the state, not as an arm of DCBS that's coming out to investigate something, but as a nonprofit that just says, how can we help? Do you need food? Your children are not getting up and going to school. What do we need? What type of parenting skills do we need? How can we help? No judgment, just how can we help? And that has been very successful. The second point that we know is an indicator of out-of-home care is incarcerated caregiver. So we go into the Montgomery County Jail, we meet with inmates, and we ask them, do they have children, and who is that caregiver, and does that caregiver need services, and how can we help them to do the same? We go into the jail and have bonding visits so that children are able to create some closure with maybe a parent that is going to be incarcerated for a very long time. But what does that look like in terms of closure for that child? Or maybe the parent is going to be released, and how do you keep that relationship together, even if it's a time and space where the adult can't take care of the child? What does that relationship look like so that the child can move into adulthood in a healthy manner? So what we're trying to make everybody aware of, on November the 12th, there will be a meeting at the County Extension Office. We are asking citizens, any stakeholders, people who are mandated reporters, people who have received services, people who may have had experience with the Child Protective System, maybe someone in your family or maybe them previously. Anybody that can bring voice to the table to help us answer one crucial question. What will help? What could help? What do we need, and what are the community services that are needed to wrap our community around families that are at risk so that we can keep children with families rather than in a state system? So please take this information, reach out to us. If you know of anyone who might need our services, I left the card there. That is a separate number than from our residential program. Please feel free to reach out to us. Our sheriff's office and police departments have that information. So that was my primary report tonight. Second, briefly, because I'm running long, is just make City Council aware. Gateway Children's Services has purchased 114 High Street, which was formerly Vicki Richardson's office. That will still be used as a staffed residential home for adolescents, primarily 16 and 17-year-olds. What we are finding is we have many youth that are graduating our 6-month program and they're homeless. They have no place to go. They can't go back to their family. There are not foster homes available. So this will be a fully staffed home that can house up to 4 teenagers at a time so that they don't have to live in a milieu type environment. It's more of a home type of environment where they can go to public school and work and that type of thing. So if there are no questions, thank you so much for your time on a very busy night.
All right. Thank you. Great things happening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 5 is the approval of the September 17th, 2024 council meeting minutes. Those are in your packet. I know you've had an opportunity to look those over. We'll just need a motion to approve.
Motion.
Motion by Garrett.
Second.
Second by King. Any further discussion? Call the members, please.
Barnes. Garrett. Hilton. King. Murphy. Trimble.
Item number 6 is the September financial reports. These are in your packets for your review, and please bring forward any questions or comments you may have. Give you an opportunity to look those over once again. Okay, hearing no questions or comments, item number 7 is the department head committee reports. We'll begin tonight with Captain Jimmy Daniels filling in for Chief Landrum. Welcome, Jimmy.
Thank you. Mayor, Council, thank you for having me. Has some statistical information, calls for service that the police department has responded to in the past month. We had 646 calls for service. We had 19 alarm drops. We performed 20 assists of some sort from EMS and other agencies. We had 2 reports of child abuse or neglect. We responded to 18 disorderly conduct complaints. Detectives opened 13 kind of special investigations this month. We took 12 juvenile complaints, 31 non-injury accidents, 18 reckless operator complaints, 14 complaints of suspicious activity, and 23 suspicious persons reports. And patrol officers had 130 investigatory traffic stops this month. 15 weather-related calls, and we had performed 26 welfare checks of some sort, coming through dispatch, having the police department come and check the welfare of citizens here in the city. The second thing that I have, it's really good news. We know how important that technology is for any business, and technology, and good technology is no different for the police department. So we applied for a Homeland Security grant through the governor's office. And we were just recently approved for that grant. And it was a really big one. I was really proud that we got it. It's for $83,400. And that is a technology grant, and we're gonna use that for MDTs for the car. It comes with all the mobile cop software, it's really expensive. All accessories for it, GPS, the devices, mounts for the vehicles. And it covers all the officers and all the newest MDTs or car computers that we need, and companion software that we need for dispatch. So I want to give a shout out to Lieutenant Noel and also Jocelyn Gross with the Gateway Ad District. They worked together to get the grant done. I really appreciate Lieutenant Noel's efforts in the Gateway Ad District for helping us with this important grant. Third thing I have is just an update on Court Day. I know it's here, and the police department stands ready, and we're prepared and properly staffed to be there for any problems that comes up in Court Day. Properly staffed to patrol the crowd, and also properly staffed to answer calls for service if whatever may arise. And the last thing we have is just the personnel update. We do have 3 new officers that retired recently. One officer is he's a young Marine, and he came to us about a couple months ago. His name is Michael McDonald, and he's scheduled to attend academy in about mid-December. I think it's December 12th. And the DOCJT has something, a new program that they're starting this year. They do about 2 weeks in online training before they actually head to the academy for the 18 additional 18 weeks. And again, this December the 12th. We had 2 lateral hires, and it was Justin Carter and Thomas Wilson. They come from other agencies. Even though that they have other training, we still put new officers through a field training program with their agency. Like a new officer is 14 weeks, but a lateral officer that we give 4 weeks of training. That's basically get a feel for the city, a feel for the heartbeat of the agency in the city.
What does that mean? Does that mean riding with an officer?
Yes, sir.
4 weeks?
Yes, sir. It's, they're a certified field training officer or PTO, police training officer. And even though that they do have previous trainings, that we still want to put them with the FTO just to get the heartbeat of the agency and the heartbeat of the city. And they have passed those phases, and I've reviewed their daily observation reports. I spoke to other officers that they work with, as well as their supervisors, and they all told me that they've done a great job, and I fully expect them to have full confidence in the recruit and the 2 laterals that they'll perform honorably and serve the citizens here of our community. So, and that's all that I have, unless you guys have any questions.
Captain Daniels, you're going to go down and get the official presentation of the award from the governor himself on Thursday, right?
Yes, sir. Thursday at 12, I'll be there myself and Lieutenant Noel will be there to get the big lottery check.
That's right.
But we need,
Actually in Frankfurt.
Oh,
We're going
okay.
to Frankfurt.
so we need the big lottery check, but we don't expect to have the program fully implemented in the grant until mid-spring. So.
That's a huge award, and we've never seen one that large. Usually we get 3,500, 5,000, Laura, somewhere in there if we're lucky. So huge award for us.
And I think that what was applied for was only 32,000 and ended up getting the same 3, so.
Yeah, it's a big deal. We know how important technology is and how fast that it changes. And it's huge for the police department. And we really appreciate, like I said, the Gateway Ad District, Mr. Groves, and the governor's office and the Homeland Security Department. So.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
One more.
I'm aware that you have an officer that's been sick, Officer Powell,
Yes, ma'am.
off duty, that he was hurt. Do you have a report on him? Is he doing okay?
Yes, ma'am. I went over to visit him on Sunday. He did have a tracheotomy, I think is what they had, a trachea, and they successfully removed it, and he's performed the swallow test, I think that's what they call it. He took a bad hit, and he really did. I don't think there's nothing life-threatening anymore. They said it was the most bone sutures that UK Hospital has ever performed on someone. He posted a photo on Facebook.
Yeah.
But we think it's gonna be all right, and we really appreciate it. We actually have 3 officers out injured, so if we keep Lieutenant Noel had a leg injury, so if we keep all those officers in prayers for him and their family, I Pal's got a really young baby, but we do think he's on, hopefully, he's a great officer, and hope he comes back, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
ATV.
Thank you, good report. Next, Director of Public Works, Nathan Boston.